Hello, welcome back to our channel, the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn. Yes. And we are back to review Married at First Sight, episode 13, part 1 of the season finale.
Yeah, part 1 of the season finale.
Approaching decision day.
Approaching decision day. Man, we got a lot from the couples today. We saw a lot of in-depth stuff. And, you know, we can take each individual instead of a couple as a whole and kind of break them apart because each individual had something to say about their spouse they met with. Somebody who would give them an important decision. Somebody they could talk to in their life that could help them make important decisions. And we saw, man, they talked about a lot.
They did.
They talked about a lot and discussed a lot. And some couples that you thought would, you know, already have an answer to decision day really are not sure.
Yeah.
Really are not sure. So I don't know where you want to start tonight. I let you. I know I usually pick. But since we're coming down to the end of the series, I'm gonna let you.
I still say let's do the easy two. We're gonna take them individually, but let's start with Greg and Deanna.
We start with the easy couple first. Greg and Deanna.
My favorite. I love them.
Let's start with Greg because Greg met with his buddy
Pico de Gallo.
Pico. Man, Pico.
We saw Pico on a previous episode.
And we were giving Greg some advice. And Pico had been in a marriage relationship, been married for a while, and Greg kind of looked up to Pico in his wife's relationship. So Greg is sitting here talking about Deanna, and it's the same thing over again. She doesn't show her emotion. She doesn't show her feelings, and he has to kind of break down walls to let her in. And that's to him is a barrier to in their relationship. But to me, it's not a big barrier. It's not a barrier that they can't get over. I think sometimes we watch the show and we forget you only known this person for 8 weeks.
Right.
So they still building trust with you in 8 weeks and still building some things. And so you met their family, you met some of their friends, but they still some things. And he has to remember she had not been in a relationship for 10 years.
But I think it's not even just so much that she hasn't been in a relationship in 10 years. When Deanna sits down with her 2 friends, she says to them, y'all know how I am. I'm just not an emotional person. You know, we want to talk about emotions and how I feel. And I just be like, okay, can we change the subject? Let's talk about something else. They know. So I'm like, okay, this is how she is. It's definitely not going to change in 8 weeks. It might not change at all. You'll have to find some kind of way to draw that out of her.
And Pico said that. He said, what if it doesn't change? It made Greg think, oh, dang, what if it doesn't change? What am I going to do? And I think Greg had an answer coming into meeting with Pico. I think his answer is yes. I still think his answer is going to be yes after the show. But there's something that he has to deal with Deanna. And you know, they say the same thing.
I like that. I always like the fact that they say the same thing. When you go from him talking to Pico and her talking to her friends, they both said the same thing about each other. That, okay, so Greg says that Deanna probably has a problem with the fact that I overthink. Mm-hmm. Deanna tells her friends he be overthinking stuff. But her friends made a good point. I think it was her friend Jaleesa. Yeah. She met with her friend and her cousin. So her friend Jaleesa was like, I think Deanna may be the one overthinking it too, putting too much into it. And I agree. I think she's just nitpicking a little bit, you know. I think they really are the couple that's like on the track to stay together. I can't see a reason why her not opening up emotionally, I don't know if that's a good enough reason.
But both of them said the same thing. She's moving slowly. She's opening up. She's letting the wall down. She's playful with him. She interacts with him. And we saw that when both went to go play pool with each other on their last dinner before they had to go to decision day. And that's one of the things Greg said he loves about her is her playfulness. Mm-hmm. That she does play. And I think he's reading between that. And over time, he's learning, okay, she's playing now, so she's not serious. And she's learning, okay, Greg's playing now, he's not serious. Right. So they're learning, they begin to learn each other's characteristics in here, which is great for the show, and which is also great for them, and that's letting her walls come down because she's more comfortable, she's building trust, and they interacting with one another. So I think because and that's why they can say the same answer, because they have conversation. They talk, they communicate. Look at all the couples, I think they communicate the most.
and they're most on the same page.
Yeah, on the same page.
Even though they're trying to, like kind of go back and forth about it. But the one thing that we were like, oh man, when they played the pool game, was like, for every ball you sink, we get to ask each other a question.
Yeah.
And we already know that poor Greg is not athletic. He's not the best game player. I'm like, bro, why would you? Oh my gosh, she said, I think I worked at Open Sub for you already. Because she said she hulked up and was like, I opened a bottle. And he was like, yeah, I worked it out for you. I made it easy for you. But, for Greg to say for every ball that we sink, we get to ask a question. You're not going to get that many balls in there, especially after you said, we're going to ask questions. And so Deanna gets to ask the first 2 questions, and then Greg gets his, and his last question is, why, Greg? Why did you ask that question? Do you love me? Come on.
And she sat there and honestly said she couldn't say that she loved me yet.
She said she's unsure, but he knew that.
But you know what? I'm mad at Deanna.
He asked the question that he knew an answer.
But I'm mad at Deanna because she didn't give the answer that she gave to her friends. And she should have gave Greg that answer. Knowing Greg, she should have gave Greg the answer. Look, I'm on the road to that, right, but I'm not there yet. But for her to say no or I'm not sure, no, give him the answer that you gave your friends. Open up a little bit. And that's what he was talking about, opening up. If she would have gave Greg that answer, right, it would have been everything. He wouldn't have had a second thought because because he's on the road to love. That's the same thing he told Pico. Look, Dr. Cal said that we got to work towards love.
You grow in love.
You grow in love. You grow in love. And so she's the same thing. She said, I'm on the road, so you're growing in love. Give the answer. Be transparent here with your mate or your spouse. And I think that's the issue with them. They haven't learned how to be transparent with their spouse yet. And when you become transparent and open up and kind of be vulnerable to them, that's when their relationship can truly grow. Yeah.
And so along those lines, the other couple that we talked about that had that problem, saying one thing with their family and friends and not with their spouse, was Iris and Keith.
Yeah, Iris met with her mom, and I really like Iris's mom. Iris' mom, you remember from previous episode, gave her some good advice about her virginity, saying it is a pool that she just needs to jump in. And Iris had her friend Jasmine that was there, and Iris basically gave everyone her answer. Her answer is yes.
She wants to stay married. She's excited about it, and her mom is excited that she's excited. She's
happy about Keith, and I mean, if she said there was anything that they got it right, they made us together, we're real compatible, everything's there, and Keith is opening up a little bit, and she's opening up a little bit, and is moving once again back to this 8-week period. She's moving slowly. Right. And I think we want, as fans of the show and fans of people, we want Iris and Keith to go ahead and jump into bed and do all those type of things and get real intimate with each other. And the intimacy is much more than her virginity. Right. And one of our viewers, one of our subscribers, and I appreciate you bringing this point up, said the show never said anything. Keith hadn't done anything romantic for Iris.
Right. Yeah. Oh, the subscriber that brought that up. Thank you, because we thought about it. It was like he hasn't really.
They haven't showed anything.
Yeah, they haven't showed it. I tend to believe that he probably hasn't done it. Right. He hasn't been like over the top romantically. He hasn't been over the top emotionally. When it comes to her, it may be because he says there's her emotional and sexual immaturity, and so it's making him not want to bring that out. But
I mean, from a man's perspective, if you bring out the romanticism, you bring out the romantic intimacy, not sex, because I don't want people to confuse intimacy and sex. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing when they watch the show, and you want to confuse the intimacy with sex. It's much more that intimacy can be spiritual, intimacy can be physical. And intimacy can be mental, so therefore he has to be able to hit all those aspects for Iris so she can feel comfortable to be physical. Right. And so when he hits those, and we haven't seen Keith do any of those, he brought her the jewelry, he got the ring, but those
he hasn't been like lovey-dovey. Yeah, he hasn't been lovey-dovey to me with
the
her.
Romantic candles, the bathtub, the extra flowers, or just singing a song, even though she brought in an album, singing a song to her, holding her hand at dinner. You haven't seen that side. Now, we can't say he didn't do it, just maybe wouldn't record it. But from what we saw as viewers, we didn't see that for him, and that's what opens up the intimacy and makes Iris, and she said it, feel more comfortable.
Right.
And that's what makes her comfortable. If Keith begin to show that, I think if Keith would have shown more intimacy, it would have let down Iris's walls much quicker.
But back to like what we said with Deanna and Greg, again, I think if she had, we talked about the fact that I think if she expresses to Keith, you know, I feel like I'm going that way with you.
Yeah.
You know, just, I want you to know there is hope. I'm really feeling like it could go that way. Because she said that to her mom, was like, we don't have a timetable on it. And that's fine. She shouldn't have a timetable. But she should say to Keith, you know, if it happens, it happens. And I will be fine with it.
And I'll be fine
if it happens. And she never said that to him.
And it would let him take his walls down. And you know what? She's cool with me taking initiative or taking the assertiveness in this role to help her bring her walls down. Because we saw Iris was the one who did the dance class. Iris was the one who brought the finger paint.
She's doing everything to let him know I'm good with it. I'm okay with it. And he's like, Keith, take the bait, bro.
Take the bait. And you become to show the initiative, and you do the things other than just rolling dice and having to try to lick your toes. I mean, I understand. You know,
we were kind of tense when it came to Keith and meeting with his mom. My husband's not really feeling his mom. He feel like she's a pot stirrer just a little bit. But she was better tonight.
She was better tonight.
She was better tonight.
I think she just shows Keith. You know, goes back to episode 1. I think episode 2 when he told Keith that Iris was a virgin. Mm-hmm. I still think she shouldn't have told Keith that.
Right.
That Iris should have told Keith that, and Keith should have learned that from Iris, because before they even had a conversation, Keith already had made up his mind. Oh, I'm dating a virgin, or I'm married to a virgin. And so he's put up that wall. And then the episode when he asked, the mom asked Keith, do you really love her?
Does she make you happy?
Does she make you happy?
Does she make you happy?
And you know, what is happy? You know, what is happy in 8 weeks? You haven't been through some things. She's been there. Iris has been there for him. She's been there when his grandmother died. She's been there through their 1 month anniversary. They really haven't had a major blow up besides the juice situation, where she didn't want nobody to take the juice out of the refrigerator that they bought. You know, that's kind of the major argument they had. And then mom is here. I've come to realize that Keith is a mama boy. Oh
my gosh, that's the one point we noticed. I was like, you know, he keeps talking to his mom, and it's fine to talk to your mom. But I'm like, where's your dad? This is a man thing. I'm trying to figure out as a man what to do in this relationship. He should be talking to, we feel like. He should be able to talk. Maybe he can't, maybe him and his dad don't have that kind of relationship. That's possible, but as a man in a relationship, you get a better perspective from another man that's in a relationship. It's like, why does he keep talking to his mom? And my husband called him a mama's boy. He's a mama's boy. And I think it's right.
I think at a certain time, a man should talk to another man about relationship. How are your relationship? What's going on with dad? What should I do? You know, as a father-son relationship, should have that type of relationship. And I understand mom from a women's perspective, giving them some advice. You know, this is how she may be feeling as a woman. Okay, dad, this is how I'm feeling as a man. Have you ever been through this feeling? Have you ever been in this situation? How would you handle this in this situation?
Right.
You know, and that type of thing. He has both his parents. They come from a decent home from what we saw. Very religious family. So he should be getting that advice from not only just mom, but maybe from dad as well. And that's one of my points I just picked up. Like, he always talking to his mom. Talk to your dad. Let dad pour a little bit into you, give you some knowledge, and tell you, boy, this is what you need to do.
Yeah. And so they went to on the night before their last dinner date, before decision day, and they went out to eat, and Iris did typical married
a divorce.
Couple things. She's eating off his plate. He said, I think you got my food. I'm gonna take one more bite.
I know somebody that does that.
But they anyway, they got a chance to talk. And the V card came up again.
Yeah, she asked him, is my virginity a barrier? Or is my virginity is something that is still a hindrance in his marriage?
And Keith acknowledged, she was like, yeah, it is an obstacle. But we've taken strides. We've made strides. I've seen you get more comfortable and been more vulnerable. And, that helps.
And that's one of the moments I want to clap Keith up, because he answered it the right way. He answered it the right way to make her feel more comfortable. And I think that's her biggest issue. She hasn't felt comfortable, and she wants to make sure that this is the right thing.
Right.
This is the very right thing. If both of them say yes on decision day, I'm almost 99.9% sure that Keith will get some that night.
You might be right.
That if both of them say yes on that day, I'm almost 99% sure that she knows the cameras are gone, that they are gonna stay married. Keith will get some of Iris's cookie, whatever she calls it that day.
Nookie. But yeah, and we came to the conclusion that for Iris and Keith, you know, for them and Deanna and Greg, it's like probably when and if they say yes, it's saying yes knowing that, okay, let's try to see if we can make it through the time when the cameras are gone and go from there. Their yes will be, I'm willing to try still, you know, for this time frame.
And there's nothing wrong with still working on this marriage after 8 weeks, and after, you know, Greg said something, well, the experts won't be around. But if you feel that there's still issue, you can still get marriage counseling from somewhere. You know, Greg, your pastor, Greg goes to church, they both go to church.
Right.
So they can still get some kind of advice and help from somewhere. Doesn't mean the experts stop because the show stops.
Yeah.
Those particular experts may stop, but you can still get some help in your areas of your marriage from some counselors and some people based off of what you need to be done, what needs to be done to keep the relationship, the spice, and whatever case going in the relationship. So, you know, I'm rooting for Iris and Keith. I'm not 100% sure if they stay together, but if I'm Iris in this situation, I let Keith go first.
Yes. And again, I just hate, like, Deanna and Greg's our favorite couple, Iris and Keith's second favorite couple. And I just hate that they're still, both of them are still kind of on the fence.
Well, 3 out of the 4 is on the fence.
Yeah, about what they're going to, because Iris is
definitely
Iris is all in.
Iris
is all, and I'm not mad at her for it. Like her mom said, it's good to see her in this place because she's made so many, you know, it's been rough for her as far as the relationships, and that's why she's excited to see her daughter in a place where she's happy and she's enjoying this person's company and feeling more open and relaxed
and she feel like family. But she said it herself. If Keith said no, she would be devastated.
Yeah. I can imagine. Please, Keith, please don't say no. Please just keep trying, keep pushing. You listen. You're this close to your you're this close to your miracle. Don't give up now. You gotta endure to the end.
You sick. We hope
you shall reap if you faint.
You get part of Iris. But anyway, let's move on. But if he hangs on in there, he'll be part of Iris, and I think they should be do well together if they both say yes.
Yeah. All right. So, let's do the roller coaster next.
Yes.
Let's save the other.
Save the one for last.
Because the other one got
Save the one. Yeah, save the last there for last.
Yeah.
Let's go to.
All right. So, Beth met with her mom, and we liked the interaction between her and her mom.
And that was good, surprising me, because I thought we were gonna see Dad.
Nah.
But I'm glad she met with her mom, and we really saw. This is one of the first few times that we saw her and her mom interact with one another.
Yes.
And I'm a big proponent of, you know, if you're a female, interact with your mom, interact with your family member. And mom was able to pour some wisdom into Beth and talk to Beth, and mom knew what was going on with her and Jamie. You know, they talked, they have conversations, so she's not a novice, or not like she doesn't know what the issues have been, and she was giving Beth some advice of how to maneuver through their relationship.
Yes.
And she said she's seen her daughter happy.
Yeah.
She had never seen us happy before.
Yeah, but she acknowledges that Jamie's a Southern man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he's got his ways about him.
Yeah.
But she also said, Beth, well, you're set in your ways too. You got your quirkiness, and y'all are gonna have to work around each other's quirkiness and each other's set in their ways. You know, she told him.
She gave him some sound advice.
Yeah, she did. She did.
And, you know, she gave him some good advice, and Beth had to take the advice that her mom gave her, and she thought about that thing. You know, this is one of the few times that she really owned up. You know what? I made some mistakes in this. I made some mistakes, and, you know, a lot of time we didn't hear her say she wanted to blame Jamie for a lot of it, but she really, after talking to her mom, really owned up. So, you know what? I made some mistakes.
Yeah, and again, they talked about, the mom says, well, what if Jamie doesn't say the same thing? Like, what if he says yes and you say no, or what if he says no and you say yes? How are you gonna deal? And she's like, I don't know.
She don't know how she deal. Their relationship to the point where they love each other, but they love not to be without each other. They got to be around each other. They don't know how to deal if the other one is not there, and so they got to have. They've been compatible in these 8 weeks and not compatible, and I think they feed off each other. Yeah,
they don't know how to not, like, they like being around each other, but like they've said every episode, when it's bad, it's bad.
It's bad.
When it's bad, it's bad. But when it's good, it's good.
Because they don't know how, neither one of them know how to compromise or let things go. Mm-hmm. In a marriage, there are some things that you don't necessarily have to always speak on. There's some things that you ain't always got to confront. Not saying that you're hiding it. It is some things that it's not meant to kill you. It's not meant to. I think some of Jamie's comments, we look at it being asinine and being so off. But some of his comments, it's the way it's his delivery, not his intentions.
Right. It's because his point is valid.
The point is valid.
He's making a valid point. It's just the way he presents it. And then the other thing is, Beth saw emotions on her sleeve. Clutch her pearls. All the blinking, she did that when they went out to dinner together. He was like, and we're going to get to him meeting with our friend, but just real quick, you come off as you're supposed to be such a sexual being, but you talk a lot of stuff, but you can't back it up. Basically, it's what he told her.
His whole thing was about sex. It's not, if you look at even when he met with Mario.
Yes, he met with Beth's best friend Mario.
Yeah, and his whole thing has been about their sex life.
Mario was like, Lord, you almost made me choke. You didn't have to go all the way in with that.
Like someone, your penis fits my vagina. It's
Lord have mercy.
It's one of those things.
Jamie, I was like, for real though, Jamie, it was obvious to me that, which is good, Beth talks to her mom more about their ups and downs than she does
her dad.
Mario even. Her best friend. So that was good to me.
Yeah.
But Jamie went in. Mario was like, you gotta warn me. I did not expect that. Woo.
But he went in. Think about all the conversations that it's always been about sex. They talk about sex, and he equates intimacy with just physical.
Right.
And she wants the emotional. She wants the spiritual. She wants all those things to be in line before I give you my physical. And you can't just have physical without having the emotional attachment.
But Mario made that point, and it's so ironic because me and my husband were saying when we went to Bible study tonight, we had our married couples class, and we talked about intimacy and how for some people, well, not for some people, for women, to get to the sexual intimacy, you have to. It's a build-up. It has to be with the emotional, the mental, the spiritual. That makes them more likely to do the sexual intimacy, and that's what Mario said to Jamie, and he put Jamie in perspective. You're thinking the sexual is gonna fix everything else, and meanwhile she's trying to get everything else to get to the sexual.
But we learned that, and you learned that from Deanna. Deanna didn't really start feeling Greg until she saw Greg in a different light with his friends. It wasn't about him trying to rub up on her or the 50 million compliments that he would give her and all that. Right. It was about her seeing him in a different light in which she liked.
Right.
And so that became the emotional piece there. And so that's what happened with Elizabeth and Jamie. They speaking the same thing, but they're saying it in different languages.
Right.
Jamie likes the physical language and the physical sexual intimacy. And Beth likes the affirmation, you look pretty and you're doing a great job. Thank you for being a wife. And so they got to be able to learn each other's love language in order to communicate. And when they can't do that, and Jamie wants her to hear him the way that he wants her to hear it,
right?
And the way he wants her to hear it. And she like, okay, I want you to hear me, but let her wear her emotions on her sleeve.
Right.
Sit there and listen to her. And when she calmed down, Beth. Because even tonight, they did it at the dinner table. They didn't have really a major blow-up.
Yeah, that was good.
They had a good conversation with each other.
Yeah,
and even though she was sitting there like, listening.
She didn't necessarily like what he said, but they didn't blow up like they would have
And that's growth.
Yeah, that's growth.
And that's growth. And so he was sharing what he wants. I know she was tired of the sex conversation, but she had cut him off. I don't want to cut off. She had they had tabled the sex for a minute.
Yes.
And so that's why my point is that everyone's talking about Iris and Keith having sex. But look at the couples who had a lot of sex and how much they are having issues and problems. And they have to table it in order just to get to know each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest issues when in experiments like this, people want to jump to the bedroom without actually knowing the other person.
Yeah. Which leads us to the most, well, they're not the most. I'll say they're the second most emotionally unstable.
Yeah. I think Elizabeth and Amber running neck to neck for the most tears. I think Amber has it beat though.
Yes. Elizabeth shed the tears, but she got hers the more angry tears.
Yeah.
And Amber is just, I'm just so beat down tears. But poor thing.
How can he do this to me?
So initially, we see Matt meet with his friend, who we find out is one of his friends he's been hanging out with.
Devin.
And his friend Devin. And they talk about the fact that Matt says, I think we're in a good place. he be sounding so delusional sometimes. But I mean, Amber said they have gotten to a better place.
And he's been home. He's been home. You get to the better place. I don't care how. You have to be there in order to work on a marriage. You have to be present in order to work on a marriage. And Matt's been present, so they have to have time to conversate. You have to have time to be around her. You have to have time to know how she feels and interact, to have dinner and all those things. And Devin said something that was key that we got to see now. He like, yo, remember when you was out, you like, I need to call Amber or I need to talk to Amber. And I'm sitting here like, Matt, you said it. Your boy know you said it. But you just didn't do it.
And that's what his friend was saying. Like, you need to... They talked about communication. You need to communicate better. You got a problem with communication.
Yeah.
And Matt acknowledged, I do. I need to tell her where I am. I need to be in touch with her. And he said it himself. When I don't, her imagination runs wild. And he hates the fact that her imagination runs wild. But you haven't given her anything so she doesn't run wild. All you got to do is say, hey, I'm hanging out with my boys. I'm hanging out with Devin.
I'm at Devin's house.
House. Me and Devin are out at the club or whatever the case may be. So she won't be like, oh, I bet he's out there with some skank. Oh, he's out there with a Tatiana. Oh, my gosh.
And then the only other say, you know what? I'll be home at 2:30, the curfew you gave me.
Right.
I'll be home on curfew time. But it's just the communication with him. I think Matt intends well.
The communication and the trust, yes.
Trust. I think he wants to do well by Amber. I'm not one of those guys that he wants to dog this girl. I think he really likes her. And because he was on the show looking for love. I don't think he's on the show just looking for attention. I think he's looking for a wife. And he found a girl that is emotionally attached to him, that love her, and that cares for him. And he don't know how to do that because he has never been in really long relationships.
And that's what I was going to say. I think Matt came into this experiment expecting for the process to help him change, not knowing that he is going to have to put forth the effort to change. Because he did come in there looking, he said he came in there looking for love. He came in there looking for marriage, for somebody to help him settle down. But you have to put in the work. Like he said, I didn't know it would be this much work. You have to put in the work to try to settle down. And I mean, he even says, he was like, she annoys me. I don't feel like I want to be around her all the time. Bruh, you don't know what a marriage is. You have to.
But I can understand all the whining, the crying, don't leave me. That's annoying to him.
But that comes from him not being in place.
But you got to go back to a couple episodes. Even before then,
I mean,
when he went to the other bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, are you leaving me?
But to me, that's the clinginess. He said he doesn't like the clinginess.
Right.
So she has been clingy. But the other thing, the tears, the emotions, all of that came from.
That's from him.
You not. acting right, Matt. You got to do better. The experiment is not going to change you. You have to change yourself.
He has to change the experiment, and he has to understand that this is my wife, and this is what she wants, and that's where the communication and conversation comes in. Okay, we're not just sitting across from each other having dinner to talk about, have dinner. You know, where are we at in the progress? And I think this is where I like, where I have a problem with some of the editing or the show. You never see them talk about the process of the show. You never see them talk about, you know, where are we at today? You know, are we getting better? This is what I've improved upon. You know, where can I improve on? I mean, you hear Greg ask a lot of those questions because he wanted to know. But a lot of people, you know, what can I improve on? Am I getting better here in this area? Some kind of affirmation where you can judge and gauge yourself from. And that's what Matt needed from Amber. Like, look, I need you to do this X, Y, Z. I need you to be here. She almost needed to treat him like he was one of her students.
Yeah.
And this is where I need you to be accountable here. I need you to be
able to. I feel like
that
is so unfortunate for a grown man.
Yeah.
But again, he hasn't apparently been in a serious relationship, and this ain't the time to be. This ain't the time, bruh. I'm so disappointed with Matt. I just have to go back again. Like, how do you get married but you don't want to be around your wife all the time?
Yeah, you should be able to, and that's not a good, successful marriage. When you want to be away from your spouse, if you want to be away from your spouse, you have an issue. If you don't like your spouse being around, there's a problem in your marriage. You need to get some help. And I mean, you have to like being around your past spouse, for better or worse, for sickness or poor, sickness and health, to death do us part. You know, that's the vow if you're married that most people took, unless you wrote your own.
Right. And
I hope you threw that in. Even if you wrote your own, I hope you threw that in there.
Yeah.
Rich or poor. You know, whatever the case may be, he needed to build a relationship with her, and she don't trust him right now.
Right.
And she doesn't trust him, but Matt's trying to build that trust up. And
even when they went to the brewery, you know, they had a nice little time. You know, they had a casual dinner. They said that's the kind of people they are. We're not, you know, snooty. We don't want to go to an old fancy restaurant. We go to the brewery and eat some food there. And you know, Matt said, I wanted somebody that was in my corner, that was supportive, and that's what you've been. You've been there for me, and we got a lot of commonalities, and Amber hears them talking, but she's like,
she can't believe it no more.
I just don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I can trust his words. He's talking real good, but
he's a little boy that cry wolf.
Yeah.
He set her up to let her down, set up to let her down, set up to let her down. And her trust in him is very, very slim right about now. And then she always lets him back. I mean,
because she wants it to work. She wants it to work so bad. She wants it to work so bad.
She has a forgiving heart, and I like that about her. She has a forgiving heart, and she's willing to take chances over and over again.
I mean, I like it too, but also you don't want to be a doormat. You don't want to be, you know, beat up, and most of the time you
depressed and not living your own life. Yeah. It's come to the point that she got to put her foot down.
And so then we come to the night before decision night, and decision day. Matt stays in the apartment, and she says, "Well, I think I'm gonna go to my friend Devin's house."
Raven.
Raven. Went to her friend Raven's house. Sorry, Devin was Matt's friend. But worst decision ever.
I don't know the worst decision ever. I think, you know, if she gets there and Raven said he has to tell her something because she's contemplating decision day, which is the next day, and he said he saw Matt in the club with a young lady, and it looked much more than them just having a casual dinner.
They was real focused on each other.
He left with a young lady. You know, my thing with Raven is, and I want to know you guys, if you're Raven, would you tell Amber this the night before her decision? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. That would be the question. Would you, if you're Raven, would you tell Amber this the night before the decision, or would you have told Amber this the day that you saw it happen? Because my wife made a comment and she was like, "Look, I would have came up to him like, hey man, how you doing?"
Right. See, that I'm like, I don't know if I want friends, and it may just be different. You know, I don't know if I want a friend like Devin, because I would expect my friends, if they see my husband out with some woman, that they make a point to walk past the table. "Hey Glenn, how you doing?" And then based on his response, I know if you supposed to be with this person or not. I expect my friend to do that. And I was like, really, Raven? So you just gonna tell her that happened? You can't add nothing else to it. And when I spoke to him, he didn't say anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hopefully Raven is making this up because he liked Amber.
I don't think he's making it up.
I don't think so neither.
I don't think he's making it up, but I just feel like and this is a side note, as a good friend, then you should look out for me. Not just tell me, but what did you do when you saw them in the restaurant?
Yeah.
Did you follow them out to the car? Did they get in the same car?
Oh, you want to go FBI? And this ain't Cheaters, right? This ain't the TV show Cheaters.
That's extreme. The biggest thing is, I'm telling you, and I'm speaking from personal experience. I remember, I saw a friend of mine out with somebody, and I was like, that's not his wife. But I was like, hey, how you doing? And I could tell when he did me like this. Oh, I know what time it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he had to tell her. I don't think he should have told her before decision day, because now she is broke up.
But
she is broken up.
It goes back to my original question. If she doesn't go to Raven's house that night, did he ever tell her?
That's the question.
That's the $1 million question.
That's the question.
That's the $1 million question. Do we ever find out? Do we ever know that Matt may be spending his time with somebody else? Hopefully it was his sister.
My husband really does think that Raven's got something for Amber.
I think do y'all think Raven has something for Amber? Yeah, that would be one of our questions also. Do you think Raven have something for Amber? Sometimes maybe it's a love and basketball thing. That's her favorite movie.
Yeah.
The best friend fell in love.
But if he does have something for Amber, I don't think he told her that.
No, I don't think he makes this up. I don't think he makes this up.
No, not even made it up. I don't think he said it like, oh yeah, let me ruin it. I don't think he did it like that.
He ain't got to work hard to ruin that, because Matt's
doing a very good job on his own.
His own ruin it.
So we hit everybody, and we're just excited
for part 2.
For decision day.
Actually,
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm so ready to hear Deanna and Greg say yes.
I think Iris and Keith said yes.
Iris and Keith say yes.
I think Jamie and Elizabeth said yes.
Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, they're so toxic. I think they'll say yes.
I think they say yes and they work it out. I think Amber says I think Matt says yes and Amber says no.
I think no. This is what we decided. So on decision day, when it comes to Amber and Matt, Amber needs to let Matt speak first. And depending on what Matt says, that's the way she needs to go.
That's the way she needs to flow.
That's the way she needs to go. I almost kind of feel like that with Elizabeth and Jamie. With Iris and Keith, I think it's a crapshoot either way. Unfortunately, Deanna and Greg, again, I'd be very surprised.
If Deanna and Greg says no, either one of them says no.
You know what?
I might stop watching the show. No, I'm just kidding.
I'd be so upset.
I'd be so upset. And I really want to know the reason why.
Yes, then he gonna have to give a darn. Whoever is gonna have to give a darn good reason why. Darn good reason why. But let us know what you think. Who y'all think stay together? Who you think will stay married? What are you looking for from decision day next week? If you were Raven, did Raven make the right decision by telling Amber about Matt? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. We're gonna leave the question. We're gonna pin it to the page. Hey, thanks for joining us. This has been a very good, exciting season of Married at First Sight. I still say they've been the best matched couples.
I think so. I think they've been the best matched couples, and we got what we wanted to see for these couples on Married at First Sight. And I think we have a lot more. I'm waiting for, once again, next week, part 2 of the final decisions. And the reunion show is going to be good, too.
Oh, yeah.
I think the reunion show is going to be great.
Oh, yeah. And side note, speaking of reunion, there's a lot of rumors floating out there about Deanna being pregnant, and she had been on Unfiltered.
Well, she was on
Unfiltered tonight, and I didn't see what looked like a baby bump. I don't.
And I know they filmed right after the show, but I didn't see anything that was a baby bump. But hey, let us know what you think about Deanna being pregnant. All the rumors out there.
I don't think she is.
Watch Unfiltered.
Even though once a month can get you pregnant.
That's what she said. Once a month. All it takes is one time. One time. Hey, thanks for joining the Jack and Glenn channel, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.